Hi, and welcome to Fearless Warriors Interviews with me, Cesar Zunyan. And today we have Alison Stockton, who is the CEO of Vibrant Balanced Health. Welcome, Alison.
Hey, how are you? So nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have you on the call. So just tell us a little bit about you and who you are, what you do, and a bit about Vibrant Balanced Health.
Okay, so my name is obviously Alison, and Vibrant Balanced Health is the company that I started about vibrance, balance, and health for women in their life. And just to regain all of those aspects back, because so much of our time is spent in our work environment, and sometimes we can forget to have the balances that we need. So I decided to use the name Vibrant Balanced Health so that people can associate exactly what it means within what I do.
That sounds awesome. So tell us a little bit exactly what it is you do with your clients.
So I have been a personal trainer for over 20 years, and through that have encompassed lots of knowledge through working with thousands of clients. You can imagine over that period of time, 2 decades, both in a group environment and in a one-to-one. And most of the comments coming back from women have been about mainly insecurities about themselves. You know, they want to look like X, they want to have a smaller this, they want to have a longer that. Why am I boobs not so big? Or, you know, it's silly things like this that women are always in comparison with somebody else, especially in social media these days. So especially with women in a corporate environment, you know, they're striving, especially if they're in with men, they always want to push themselves a little bit further to kind of prove a point. And then what can happen is their health starts to suffer from that. So that's where the vibrance starts to kind of falter. You know, they're striving, but they're not taking that time or vitality for themselves. They've lost the balance of the work-life ratio because they're constantly at the work. And then the health just falls out of the window because everything else is gone. They're kind of relying on coffee, sugary foods, takeaways, eating food at their desk that doesn't really serve them. And then that triggers another imbalance that they just feel lethargic. They haven't got the energy that they need to really, really go out there and focus and really drive forward, either in their corporate world or in their entrepreneurial world. So I take that back and work with clients to bring back a balance of everything for them.
That sounds brilliant, because if you keep striving and not taking care of your health, you're not going to strive forwards because everything else is going to start deteriorating.
Absolutely. It's where you put your energy to that everything will come to you. And we have to remember that we are like a machine. If you look at the anatomy and physiology of a human body, you know, I always use a comparison of a car because I love cars. And it's like if you had a beautiful Maserati parked outside and you didn't look after it, and you put really crappy oil in it, you put the wrong fuel in it, you didn't clean it, you know, from the outside and the inside, and it's a mess. Your body is just the same, you know, it's not going to perform unless you treat it like a high performance car. And that's what, and I do use cars, which is mainly a men's thing, but
no, I'm so glad. I love cars as well. I'm glad I met
analogy. So yeah, we really need to keep our bodies clean to get the best performance out of it, really. You know, so it's not just about nutrition. Everybody thinks, oh, being healthy is just about the food. And it's not, you know, it's about having that balance of what we put on our skin, what we put in our body, even as much as what we put on our hair, on our makeup, and then our food as well is really kind of 20% is a ratio statistic that I like to kind of stick with, because 80% of everything else that you do, whether it be your exercise, whether it be your relationships, your work, and your social life, all of those things encompass a complete happy package when you have that other 20% of really healthy foods going into your body as well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, you need to take care of the inside and the outside. You can't just do one and not the other.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Because it's also, you know, it's the toxins that the free radicals that are out there in the environment, not only in the place that you work, but it's the negative energy that you can get from other people. You know, if you're working, I refer back to a corporate environment, you know, if you're working with very negative people all the time, that can really kind of dampen your own energy levels, and you can start to have self-doubt, and that self-doubt can trigger self-sabotage. And if you feel that, then you eat the food that you think is going to make you happy, but it doesn't, it makes you feel worse. And then it's a constant cycle like that. So we need to find that vibrance and that balance in that.
Exactly. So today we are going to talk about mindset and how that affects what we do, well, and everything in our lives. So what are your thoughts on mindset?
Well, I've actually just released a journal about mindset that is associated with how you eat and how you function through your day. And the mindset is very much a pinnacle point of everything that we do each day, because one thing that can go wrong in the morning can really offset the rest of your day. So it's very important, I think, these days to not look at your phone immediately when you wake up. Because when you wake up, you're straight away on social media and you're looking at somebody else, what somebody else has done. If they've done something really amazing and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to do that. Or, you know, it could be anything. Somebody comes up that you think is more beautiful than you. It can really offset your whole day. Or you've read an email that's not really as positive as you want it to be. So I think before any of that happens, you really have to just take a moment, take a really healthy cleansing tea, sit down, put your thoughts on paper, the positive affirmations, and set out what you want to achieve for that day, what you're grateful for. And if you have the time to meditate, then meditate as well. But I think your mindset, when it starts from the morning, really, really starts to filter out through the rest of the day. Or shall I do the funnel the other way? So when you've got a strong mindset here, everything else can flow through. So your mindset is your foundation, and then we have the funnel that comes through from everything else. So I think it is really, really important to what you're able to succeed, not only in your working day, but in your own day for yourself and your health.
Yeah, that's a really good point about not checking your phone as soon as you get up, because I would say most people that I know, and I do it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
First thing you're like, oh, phone, what's happened during the night?
Yeah, and that's the thing, because most of us do use it as an alarm these days. You know, the old-fashioned alarm clocks are not there. You know, I have been guilty of that also, which I know when I don't do it and I really make a conscious effort, because I have a dog, I have to get up straight away and take the dog out. I really do try to not take the phone with me. So I just get up and take him straight out and not look at it until I've got back.
Yeah.
So that I can really just focus on that clarity of space in my own mind and thoughts that I need to accomplish through that day.
Yeah, that's a good point. I often try to not look at my phone all the time. And actually, when you're having that break, it does bring clarity, because you're not thinking, oh, I've got 15 messages on Facebook, or
exactly
500 emails have come in. I better see if they're important. I need to check them out, especially if you are like an entrepreneur, because you're working, that's your business, is like often on the phone as well. But
it's a constant thing all the time.
Exactly. And you're not getting a break, but actually going away for an hour or a few hours, it's so relaxing.
And it's the same at night time, because that then affects how your sleep patterns work as well. And if you haven't had the clear sleep that your body really needs that, because that's when you rest and you recover. And that's when you can be more clear in your thoughts and your mindfulness when you wake up in the morning. So, you know, my tip would be, really try not to look at it for at least 45 minutes to an hour before you go to bed, and then at least an hour in the morning when you wake up, to bring back into your thoughts of to where you actually want to be in that day, rather than looking at what somebody else has done, and that can change your whole thought pattern for your own day.
That's very true. So how do you find mindset affects people in
Hugely, because you know, as you know as well, you have clients, and sometimes you take on these clients that, right, I just want to get fit and I just want to look like that, I want to look like that, and all they associate with that is working their ass off in the gym for maybe 2 to 3 hours a week, which, you know, as you and I both know, that doesn't happen. It has to come with everything else. Yes, you can work your ass off in a net for 3 hours a week, but 3 hours a week really, when there is so many hours in the week, is not enough to achieve that. Our body needs to move every single day. And it's trying to turn that mindset around to, okay, you want to achieve that. Why?
Mm.
Why do you want to achieve that? Is it because somebody else looks like that, so they want to, or is it because of themselves? Are they doing it for themselves? Are they doing it for somebody else?
Mm.
Is it because they've taken that mindset that I really want to be healthy and I want to look amazing for myself, because when I look amazing, I feel amazing. And then you have the other side of it that, okay, well, in order to you to achieve that, we've really got to take a look at everything else. You know, what is your lifestyle? Do you have children? How busy is your work? How much stress do you have? If you have a lot of cortisol and stress in your body, then you're not going to be able to achieve that. So we really need to bring that mindset down and ask the whys first. And once you've established that, then you can help your clients really to focus on that goal and that journey to getting to that goal. Because as you know, people want to have that in a quick fix and look that way with 6 hours of exercise and be done, boom. And if it's not happening, then their mindset changes to a negative and it's, well, this just isn't working. This just isn't working for me. Well, it can work for you, but we really have to put all of these elements into place first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that mindset really does come into it, for sure.
And I feel in our society at the moment, people want a quick fix. They want to start straight away, and that does not happen.
It doesn't happen, because as well, you have to think about, you know, whether you're working with a client that might be 20, 30, 40 or 50, if their lifestyle up until that point has not been very healthy, or they haven't had much movement and exercise in their life, and they haven't had much of a positive mindset, you're trying to undo 20, 30, 40, 50 years of toxins in their body that needs to be removed first to go to a basic ground level to then find what does work for them individually. And that's the key element, is individuality.
That's very true. Everyone's different. Everyone's body works different. Everyone's mindset is different.
Definitely.
So everyone needs their own approach.
Yeah. And exercise is different for everybody, you know? So you might have a client who comes in and they want to just be beasted, but they also need to understand that they need the calmer side of things, whether it be a Pilates session or a massage, and trying to get them to understand that that is equally as beneficial for their body as just thrashing out that gym session for an hour. Used to fall guilty of that. I used to be in the gym for 2 hours every single day, and if it wasn't 2 hours, I wasn't achieving what I wanted to do. And it's taken me years and a mindset to understand that, you know what, my body doesn't need to be pushed that hard every single day. I need to move every single day. And I was standing on my feet for 12, 14 hours a day. So I was moving all the time. But it's, again, allowing people to understand what does and doesn't work for them, and finding something that really they enjoy, so that they are positive when they're doing that. The worst thing, and you'll know this if you have a client in the gym and they are hating every single second. If they're hating every single second, that mindset is not in a positive place. So those goals that they've set themselves are never going to be achieved. There will always be a reason why it didn't work, rather than we want to find a reason why it does work.
Exactly. We want them to be having positive thoughts about what they're doing
and be enjoying it.
Exactly. That's so important. I say that to my clients: if you're not enjoying this class, or you're not enjoying going to the gym, don't do it. Do something else. Do something
that you do. Yeah, for sure.
Because you will stick, even if you're not seeing results straight away, you enjoy the class or the exercise so much that you'll keep doing it, and then the results will come. That's so important.
Definitely is. You know, again, even though we have 3 different body types, we have billions of different people across the world. So you can have, and this is what I think we fall short of in the society that we're in now, is different heritages. You know, you from your descendants are not British. So you have to look back at what is your descendant natural eating habits? What is the food that your ancestors were eating? That will then react to you. If you're eating a Western diet, but your ancestry is not, then that will hugely affect the way that your intestines and your guts react to you. So, you know, we have to think about that as well, whether you're a West Indian, whether you're Asian, whether you're French, nomadic, whatever culture you come from, and you come to a European country, which is bread, pasta, everything else, your body type won't actually work for that, and it won't like it. So it's the same for your exercise. So if your exercise isn't working for your body, change it to something that is.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I never thought of the ancestry of food. But that is really interesting. And the exercise, I'm Armenian ethnically, and if you look at Armenians, they're good at weightlifting and wrestling. And I'm definitely that. Like, personally, I'm not designed, or I wouldn't say I'm not designed, but cardio doesn't really work, but weight training works.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is ancestry. Like, that is such a good point. I'm so glad you brought that up.
It is, and that's why if you look at like shot putters, most are, that's why the association is Russian shot putter, because that's what they've trained and that's where they are. If you look at the Africans, they're very good at long distance running. That's what they are good at. You have the Jamaican from Usain Bolt and what have you that can do the sprints, but long distance he wouldn't be able to do it. You look at the likes of the Europeans that are doing the Tour de France's, their endurance is incredible. And that's because of all the treks they used to have to do long distance from country to country. So it's within their ancestry that's how they're able to do what they do.
That's so interesting. I love that. I'm going to go research some of that, because that's a good point.
It is, and it's the same with if we're just touching on that point now. There was an article that was trying to be launched by a Japanese man a few years ago who, very sadly, his wife was diagnosed with cancer. And they didn't want to go down the traditional route, or not traditional route, it's very not traditional, but the chemical route of chemotherapy and radiography and all the treatments and so on and so forth. So he took his wife back to Japan, and they ate rice. They just healed through natural rice foods. And I'm not talking white stodgy, sushi rice, whatever, just a rice, typical Asian diet. Wow. And when you look at the Japanese, the Chinese, Tokyo, they have the lowest level of cancer rates in the world anyway. So it's very unfortunate that happened, but he took it back and literally just went back to Chinese Ayurvedic medicine and healed her that way. And when you do lots of research with foods, it's still a bit kind of poo-pooed, because obviously we have medical care these days. But some people choose the organic, holistic route, and it works.
Wow. Okay, I got goosebumps when you telling that story.
It's honestly, I could just bore you with science, but bore you with research for forever and a day from everything that's coming about. It's fantastic. And it's like different cultures as well. Our culture and our mindset really is that there are certain blue zones in the world that there's been research for where are the healthiest parts, because not only does it come down to our exercise and our movement, which is crucial every single day, but the foods that we eat, but also our environment. How much time do we spend with that positivity? People around us, family dinners, communication. The loneliest people, there is about 40% in the USA that are lonely, and they're dying of depression, Alzheimer's, and other illnesses like that, because they're just so lonely and so cut off. So that has a huge impact to people as well. And how their mindset is when they're trying to achieve their goals along that journey.
Wow, that is so interesting. I could go on, I could listen to all the things you have to say for hours, but I won't keep you on the call for hours.
Everybody else. The main point is, obviously, from the question that arose, is the mindset, and it is about having that positivity to understand that when you set yourself such a high goal, and you're not achieving the results that you want, then we have to go back and think, well, why? Have you already told yourself you're not going to do it, but you keep pushing yourself towards it anyway? Or is there something that we're doing that's just not working for you right now, so we can change it? If you've tried those 5 diets, the same diet 5 times, and it hasn't worked, there's a reason for it. Let's find another one of the 120,000 million diets that are out there and find something that works for you, but let's change the mindset to a positive one instead. When I'm working with my clients, I always try to pull away the stereotypical word diet, because a diet relates to food. A diet doesn't relate to a restrictive, something that doesn't suit you. It's about what kind of diet do you eat? You know, it should really be, what kind of foods do you eat?
Yeah.
You know, it's a stigmatism of the word diet.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Can really kind of already put people off the path.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so if anyone wants to like contact you or find out more about what you do, where should we be sending them?
You can find me on Instagram, which is vibrant_balanced_health. On Facebook, which is the same without the underscore, Vibrant Balanced Health, or on the website www.vibrantbalancedhealth.com.
Brilliant. And I'll put the links in the post as well, so if anyone wants to just click on it and come to you.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of the call. What I'd like to leave the audience with is a tip or something they can take away from the call. What is your one tip they can take away from now?
I would say one tip is very difficult because that encompasses a lot of things. I'm going to use an example. For this week, I set out a free challenge to anybody who wanted to join in. They weren't necessarily clients. I've got people from all over the world, and it was just a 5-day cleanse. And it was understanding the principles of a cleanse. Our body's natural. I go back to the Maserati, that we need that cleansing system in there. Our bodies are the same, and we need that cleanse. So I think people were a little bit reluctant to do it because of the wrong association with the cleanse. But the comments that I've had coming back, I did a mindset journal with them. I did for them to do their morning meditations and to journal everything and to set out their week as to what foods they were going to eat and prepare themselves. So they were already prepared and had everything. And the feedback from that has been, I feel incredible. I feel re-energized. My kids are eating the healthy foods that you've put in the recipes, and I feel amazing. And I'm just so inspired, and thank you very much. So that was, it's not one tip, but it is about that mindset associated with healthy eating alone, and how that changes your energy levels is just so incredible.
Brilliant. Awesome. And if anyone wants to find out about the 5-day cleanse, they can find out from the links.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Brilliant.
And I can post it up on there.
All right, brilliant.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being on our interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've learned so much. I'm so glad.
That's why I just want to get that message out there to as many women as I can, you know, that anything is possible, no matter where they are in their life right now. If they are those high achievers that are just feeling so unhealthy in themselves because they've been pushing, that anything is possible, and you really can get that balance. And with the foods that you put in and keeping the right environment, and everything just becomes a little bit more vibrant as well. And that's the message I just want to send out to so many women, that you can have it all, literally.
Yeah, and that is a brilliant message, and it's true, you can have it all.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, thank you, and thank you to our listeners, and tune in next week for our next interview. Thank you, and bye.
Thanks, darling. Bye.